All right, y'all ready to unpack this one? I read all 121 comments within the comment section, talked about it with Alyssa. This is going to be a longer one. It's really just intended for the people that already follow me. Main parts I want to address are the training language, the big girl voice language, and the sort of condescending tone within that. So first off, I don't love that video. I can agree, like looking back on it, don't love my delivery. I think I could have accomplished the message in a much more effective way. I'm realizing that the way I said trained sounds like I'm training a dog or a child. Upon talking about this with Alyssa, what we recognize between the two of us is that oftentimes in our relationship, I will say, is that a request? Or like I'll prompt her. It's not like a long-term campaign that I'm trying to train her to speak more effectively. It's more like it's a habit that I've gotten into where if I'm not completely sure what she's asking, I'll say, is that a request that you're making? Like if she's on the couch and she says, I'm hungry for chips, I'll be like, is that a request? And again, so it's just habitual from my end. And so, yeah, the word trained, I didn't say it very well in that video. Probably more like I've habitualized it to the point where sometimes she starts predicting when I am going to expect her to make a request. I totally get like the tone of it sounded like I was training her and that she's like almost less than me or something.
Yeah, it's something I've been working on. Speaking up.
Two, let's talk about the big girl voice. So one of the comments talked about vernacular, and we kind of both recognize that is a vernacular that I've used before. And so like one of the other like isms that we have between the two of us is if we're like annoyed with each other, but we know the other person is right, we'll give this like, hey, Alyssa, you forgot to do the thing again. So we give this childish like I can't do it. I got a cold right now. So what we recognize is when sometimes we'll like give like almost like parent to childish feedback, and I think vernacular. And if I didn't say that to her face in that moment from that video, we acknowledge that if I had said something like that to her face, like that probably would have been her response. Again, I think without context of that, I can easily see where that sounds like me being misogynistic.
Slightly annoyed with me. It's fine though.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, and I think like when I get annoyed with you, like I might say things because if I say it straight, then like it sounds like pissed off. But if I say it in like in a playful way, like it's more likely to, I feel like, be received. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and I mean, it wasn't.
So I hope that this kind of covered the questions that you guys had. Again, didn't really like my tone in it. If I were to make the video again, I would definitely choose my words differently. And I think if I were going to use some of those same like words, like her big girl voice, like I should have added more context to that. I can totally see where if that were a one-off, like if you saw someone say that in public from like an adult to an adult, like that does sound messed up. I hope this feels like it's been properly unpacked. Happy to answer more questions on this one.